Perhaps the most odious ad in the entire country, which is saying something in the cycle, comes from Duncan Hunter, the California congressman indicted for stealing campaign funds. Hunter is smearing his opponent as an Islamic terrorist sympathizer, even though he's a Christian born in San Diego with Secret Service security clearance.
Ammar Campa-Najjar is working to infiltrate Congress. He's used 3 different names to hide his family's ties to terrorism.
He is being supported by CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. This is a well-orchestrated plan.
Ammar Campa-Najjar, a risk we can't ignore.
And joining me now is Ammar Campa-Najjar, Democratic candidate for Congress in California's 50th district. Are you surprised by the tenor of these ads?
I'm not at all. I mean, it's in fitting with everything else we've seen. And honestly, what are we doing as a nation? We have policies. We have things we could talk about. This is a deeply un-American ad, and I feel like John McCain, if he were with us today, would be so appalled. You'll remember he stood up against a woman who tried to disparage President Obama on the same line of argument. And I think the party of McCain, the party of Reagan even, is long gone. And it's heartbreaking because I have friends who are Republican. It's deeply un-American. It's not true. I'm not a security threat. I was given a clearance by the FBI. The security threat is Duncan Hunter, who was criminally indicted for spending $250,000. And the corruption smoking gun that you talked about was when he paid back $60,000. He is guilty, and it's only a matter of time until people hold him accountable.
I should note we invited Duncan Hunter to appear on the program. We did not hear back from him.
Of course not. Of course not.
I would note that he probably couldn't pass a background check if he were to get a routine job in the federal government that needed security clearance.
That's right, for a couple of reasons. 1, the indictment. 2, financial instability. He had to overdraft his account by $35,000. 3, his well-known documented excessive drinking. And then 4th, the womanizing. All those things are things that are red flags. If I had any of that in my background, I would not have gotten a security clearance. And that's why the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, Republican, stripped him of his committee assignment on the Armed Services Committee. It's not me, it's not Hillary, it's the Republicans taking him off the committee.
Let me ask you this. This district, I think, is plus 10 Republican, maybe? I mean, it's a pretty Republican district. It was considered a safe seat before the indictment. It seems to me that he could just go after you on, say, the tax cuts and Obamacare. He could say, I voted for the tax cut bill, and my opponent would not have, and I voted to repeal Obamacare, and my opponent would uphold Obamacare. Is that what is he doing that?
He's not doing that, and he has 10 years of a record to run on. And what is he doing? He's acting like an amateur, because he is. And then he had his dad come out and attack me at a press conference 2 days ago. He can't even stand on his own 2 feet like a grown man. This is a guy who knows more than any poll. We have 3 polls that have us tied, Chris. But look at his ad. His ad tells you everything. He's clearly threatened. We do have policy contrast. I want to expand Medicare for people. You know what he wants to do? He wants to raise the retirement age to 72 years old. His big, bold idea for people who are retiring is live longer, work 7 more years, then I'll give you your earned benefit. Not the entitlement, but the earned benefit. A guy who's never worked a day in his life after serving our country has not worked a day in his life in Congress. And he's just out there drinking and partying. We need somebody who will restore civility and integrity to our country. We need somebody who's going to put country over party, not their wife under a bus. And I think I'm ready to do that.
Well, here's a question: like, other than these ads, what is the race about? I mean, it seems to me that you've got a guy who's indicted, so he's backed into a corner. You've got yourself, who he is trying to, I think, if I allow me to say, a really gross fashion, try to paint as a a terrorist or whatever. But are the policy contrasts present in the race at all?
I mean, for me, they are. He wants to take away health care from 45,000 people in my district who rely on the ACA for health care.
Does he defend that vote?
No, he doesn't talk about it. He just talks about me. He's obsessed with me. And this is a guy who won't take personal responsibility for his actions. You'll remember, he blamed the DOJ for the indictment. He blamed his wife for the indictment. And I don't think his wife signed off on individuals 15 through 18 in that indictment. I know you know what I'm talking about. You talked about it. One of them was her friend. She didn't sign off on that. What he doesn't want to talk about are real issues, because he has no leg to stand on. And it's unfortunate. We could debate the real issues. I had a debate 2 weeks ago. He didn't show up. I've had 18 town halls. This guy shows up to fewer town halls than Ted Cruz does.
He won't debate you?
It's a pretty low bar. He refuses to debate me. He had his dad come out at a press conference to attack me. He won't even attack me himself. He's too much of a coward. And unfortunately, that's what he wants to be. But for me, look, honestly, I know there's a lot of resistors who watch your show, and my mom's one of them, but my stepdad's a Vietnam vet. and he's a Trump supporter. And this race for him is not about the left and the right. It's about those inside the political machine in Washington and those of us on the outside. And regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, on August 21st, Chris, when he got indicted, this became about, do we want a lawbreaker to be our lawmaker? Can we trust somebody to pass laws he can't follow himself? It's about something that transcends partisanship. It's a post-partisan election now that has to do with the character of our country and the rule of law. A congressman cannot break the law.
You know what's funny is that's certainly right. And what those ads are is his deepest desperate ability to reset it as precisely a partisan election because he thinks that he can beat you that way. Amar Kampa-Najjar, thanks for being with me.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Chris.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.